Ladies and gentlemen, welcome as we are live for today's NASCAR 07 content on the channel as we begin our very difficult NASCAR 07 season playthrough. Of course, on our last season, the Mark Martin Revenge Tour, we ended up winning the championship in dominating fashion and setting an all-time lap-led record, which will more than likely never be beaten ever again in channel history. So, how to make it even tougher on ourselves for this season, we are going to be... I had to change the title there. I didn't realize I misspelled Duel. Alright, there we go. Sorry for that. Oh man, I misspelled it again. What am I doing? Looks like I'm rushing this. There we go. Alright, outside of that, yeah, okay, welcome to the stream here today. NASCAR 07. How are we making this season different from the Mark Martin Revenge Tour season? Well, we're still on Legend difficulty, but in this season, we're going to be taking a not-so-dominant driver. Mark Martin has A+ equipment, or very near A+ equipment at every style of racetrack on this game. This driver has C equipment at nearly every racetrack on this game. The short tracks were in B equipment, but everything else, it's not looking great, and that driver is Dave Blaney. Why am I racing as Dave Blaney of all drivers to make myself have a tougher go at it? Well, my favorite driver is Ryan Blaney. Dave Blaney is Ryan Blaney's father, so I figured, hey, we won a championship on NASCAR Heat 5 with Ryan Blaney. Let's try to win a championship a couple years down the line, going in the reverse game order to NASCAR 07. So here today, we have for you the Daytona 500, but that will be coming up in a couple hours. First, we have to qualify for the Daytona 500 through the Gatorade Duel. Now, there are only 43 cars in qualifying, so we are already locked into the show. Thank goodness, because I did not qualify inside the top 35. I did qualify in the 40th place position, so we're going to be starting very deep. And I was kind of wondering, through qualifying and practice, I'm like, is this actually going to be tough? How accurate is this game when it comes to, okay, I'm in C equipment, grade-wise. Does that mean I'm going to be fast or slow still? Because being as dominant as I was with Mark Martin, something was kind of telling me in the back of my head, I'm going to race as Dave Blaney, and nothing's going to be different. Like, I'm still going to go out there and I'm going to win a bunch of races. And then I got into qualifying for Daytona, and I qualified 40th. I'm like, oh boy, the odds are stacked against me this season. So, yeah, we'll try to make the chase at the end of 26 races. We'll hope for the best. Good news is I only have to be in the top 10. I could be 10th in points at the end of 26 races. We'll get the reset. So that's just the goal basically right now. And if I can get a win along the way, that'd be great. Yeah, Gatorade Duel. Let's do it. We're starting deep in the field. We're going to be technically in dual race number 2 because we qualified at an even number, again, 40th place. I was a little bit quicker on lap 2 of qualifying than lap 1. And I was able to stay in the draft in practice as well. So I do have good hopes for that. Green flag is in the air, 60-lap dual race at Daytona on this stream, and we are underway. Yeah, I don't know why I'm 43rd. I just realized that. I shouldn't be 43rd. I qualified 40th. We don't have any teammates this season either. This is going to be challenging. I'm a little confused why it said I was 43rd also. I did qualify 40th. I can guarantee that. Everybody's going to have to pit at least one time in this race today. Oh boy, this is not good. I don't have any drafting help. I needed one car behind me on the initial start. Oh, we got trouble already up turn 4. A lot of cars up against the wall. Blaney down on the apron trying to pick up a bunch of positions. Into the tri-oval. Get back in line, get back in line. Get in line. The 149 car is down on the apron. I had nowhere to go. He's going to squeeze right back up in front of Jeff Green. We're still green here at Daytona. That's one way to get into the draft. Oh my gosh. Hang on to it. We're good. We're good. I needed that, actually, off the start. We lost a lot of time to the race leaders, but I needed that so badly. My car was so tight, by the way, in practice. It still feels tight in the race. Oh, why is the car so tight? Oh, you know what? I forgot to make the adjustment I made in practice. That's why it's so tight. Oh, man, I forgot to take the wedge back out of it again. I took wedge out of the car to try to help me. Oh, this is not good. It was a big mistake. When I made the adjustment in practice to take the half around the wedge out, I thought it was going to keep the half around the wedge out of the car, and I don't think it did. Which is also what I qualified with. Oh boy. This car is just so tight. I can't stay in the gas in the middle of the corner like I want to. Well, I mean, the good news is I'm mid-pack. I'm not in dead last. I just got to stay out of trouble. If I finish around 13th, I finish around 13th. I'll take that. Just can't believe how tight this car is. Ethan Chua, thanks for tuning in. There's no double yellow line rule for us in this game. We're going to do what we can. A little bump draft going off into turns 3 and 4. Dave Blaney drafting with the 149. Sliding in front of Matt Kenseth. Paul Menard trying to follow Dave Blaney. Blaney was making sure he was going to slide clear of Kenseth. There's still a few more cars not that far up ahead yet. Got to be careful pushing in the center of the tri-oval like that. Blaney going to get to the inside of the 149 car. He's actually going to move into 10th place into turn 1. And Matt Kenseth slips to the inside. That's a fast car for Blaney to try to follow. Transkate 1024 Neath the Chua, by the way. Thanks for tuning in. Should have dropped the difficulty. No, it wouldn't feel right. It would not feel right for me to drop the difficulty. Oh, car in the wall. Turn 4, Denny Hamlin. Hamlin just popped the wall. Blaney tried to make a move under Kenseth, thinking Hamlin was going to slow down a little more than he did. He did not. Blaney sails it off into turns 1 and 2. Burped the throttle a little bit, getting into the corner. Still trying to slide clear of Matt Kenseth, and does. Pass made for 10th. We got a little help on that first lap with that near wreck off turn 4, not getting a caution for it. And now, there we go, Hamlin dropping to the bottom. I have to lift getting into the corners. I mean, the car just sails straight up the racetrack. It's still tight in the middle of the corner when I'm in the draft, because the corner speeds are up higher, it's dirtier air. No wonder I'm so slow. The car just drives terribly. I don't know what it's going to be like 20 laps from now when the tires get older. And it's tough when you have to lift because you're losing so much momentum. Oh, car in the wall up turn 2 now. Couldn't tell exactly who that was. Looked like it might have been Dale Jr. That stacked up Denny Hamlin. And obviously Jr. who hit the wall there. And Dave Blaney surges on the inside. Clears Sterling Marlin before getting tight. Up to 7th. What a run by Dave Blaney. I mean, the great equalizer is the draft at Daytona, clearly. And now bump drafting J.J. Yaley in the 18. Yaley, a rookie in the Cup Series in this game. Blaney, Yaley working together, trying to get by Kevin Harvick in the 29. Blaney has not cleared the 29 car yet. Still didn't clear. And Yaley moved up in front of Harvick. So close to running in the top 5 right now. Now these two are probably going to draft away from us unless they get out of line together. They got out of line there a little bit. And remember, this 22 car is not going to be as fast as the 6, so if we get this far back in the draft, it's going to be difficult to keep up. Now Dale Jr., you know he's going to be fast at Daytona. He's going to give us a good push. Harvick rises up near the wall. Blaney hesitated in going with him. Goes with him a little later in the corner. Harvick getting the draft off the 18. He pulls the 22. The 8 of Earnhardt to the inside of Blaney for position. Mark Martin, by the way, started on the pole in this duel race, as he would have technically qualified second for the Daytona 500. And he has led the first, what is about to be 9 laps of this race at the start-finish line this time by. 60-lap race. Everybody's going to have to pit one time. And again, Blaney to the inside of Kevin Harvick. A little contact getting down into the first turn. Blaney underneath Yaley. And clear. Dave Blaney to the top 5 briefly. Harvick underneath to the inside. Earnhardt drafting with the 22. 22 is going to clear the 18 down to the bottom and try to stay with Kevin Harvick in this 29 car. I mean, maybe the adjustments stayed the same. I don't know. I mean, it is tight, but it doesn't feel as tight as it was in practice. In the draft, I did not try to do that. I am so sorry. Oh my gosh, I thought Harvick was going to blow over. Wow, caution's out for the first time today. Dang it, I didn't mean to do that. I was on his outside. Back of the car came up off the ground. Luckily, it went back down on all 4. Harvick's going to be able to keep his position. A little bit of damage on the 22. That's not going to help us, but that was not intentional, let me tell you. And we're still outside the fuel window, so I'd imagine everybody's going to stay out of the pits here. Caution is out. Alright, well, green flag back in the air. I really didn't want to see that caution, to be completely honest, because now we got to try to get up to speed quick again. Which is not going to be easy. And Harvick is a rival as well of Dave Blaney here. Yeah, this 22 is so slow in the restarts. Look at this. How quickly they pull away from us. That's why I didn't want to see that caution. Losing a couple spots on the restart. I don't think this car's got too much damage. At least. No, that was not the Austin Dillon move. That was not intentional. I can't. That was far from intentional. Because I know this car's so slow in the restarts. Best thing for me is for this thing to go caution free. I was trying to I don't really know. I just had such a big run. I got to his outside. I was not even trying to get alongside of him. Yeah, now we went from 6th to 10th. How far ahead Martin, those leaders pulled away from us on the restart. I mean, it literally takes this car like a lap and a half to get up to speed. Once we get up to speed and stay in the draft, we're all right, but half the field, of course, in this race, just 22 cars. Oh my gosh. Bump draft nearly gone wrong there. Sadler got loose. Dave Blaney's tight. Scrapes the wall in the middle of 3 and 4. And he's probably going to lose Jimmy Johnson. I didn't lift getting into the corner that time, and that's why I ended up in the wall. I think that little bit of damage on the nose is probably going to make this car even tighter, too, because I didn't think I was going to have nearly a big enough run there to have the car get that tight. Honestly, if I walk out of here... Oh, we got near trouble off turn 4 again. Jeremy Mayfield to the lead. Somebody finally got by Mark Martin. And the leaders are slow in the center of the tri-oval. Because now Dave Blaney's only 1.7 seconds off the race lead. I need Sadler to get around me. I need to share draft behind him. There we go. Come on. The leaders got stacked up big time right there, so we're not that far behind anymore. Yep, we are driving a Dodge on this game. Yeah, see, I get such a big run. Got to the outside of Sadler. I didn't even want to get to the outside of him. If we could just stay right here. Stay within like 2 seconds of these guys when we get into pit stops midway through this race. I think we've got a chance to win this thing on pit strategy. I'm not going to have to go an entire next run, so we won't have to worry about, you know, ill-handling car. We're definitely going to make it a 2-tire stop. Right sides only. Maybe get away with fuel only, honestly. I mean, we're only going to have to go like an extra 20 laps or so. And again, a lot of bump drafting. Back straightaway. Blaney to the back of the 38 of Elliott Sadler. Can't damage the car like we did in the Truck Series race with Ted Musgrave. We damage the car, we're not going to be able to keep up in the draft anymore, especially with, you know, Blaney and having lesser equipment. Another push before driving off into the first turn. We got 10 cars in this pack at the front of the field here. Blaney had a run back straightaway, pulls out a line on Sadler. Luckily, Johnson, those couple cars out in front of Blaney, moved down to the inside, getting into the corner, so that was a spot gain for the 22. Obviously, the big one's the Daytona 500. And again, that will be starting at 6 p.m. Eastern today on the channel. Johnson swinging wide. Blaney's going to stay underneath him. Into the first turn, lifts to make sure he wasn't going to get too tight and stay in the line behind Dale Jr. That lift when you get up further in the pack, though, is going to be a little bit more costly. Luckily, Blaney was able to slide clear of Johnson and should be able to stay with Earnhardt on the back straightaway. We've been as high as 5th, currently 8th. Didn't lift getting into the corner that time. Blaney's got a pretty nice run through the front stretch. Cutting to the bottom of the racetrack, 3 wide. Harvick's arrival for that contact with him, so this was our best chance to try to make a pass on the 29. What a 3 wide move by Dave Blaney to get to 6th. I'm really hoping that Harvick doesn't get by Dale Jr. and risk spinning us here. Oh, Kyle Busch going wide. Getting into turns 3 and 4. Kenseth slides in line between the 5 and the 16. Contact! And a battle for the lead up there between Mark Martin and whoever he was battling with. Looked like Tony Stewart in the 20. Dave Blaney back up into the top 5. Has to lift a ton into the corner and still ended up in the wall. Don't let Harvick get to me. Really don't need Harvick to get alongside of us. Well, he's there. I'm letting him go. Oh, gosh. In the process of letting him go, I lost a couple extra positions. Come on, don't lose them, don't lose them. I don't have anybody behind me anymore. So easy to lose the draft. My gosh. I'm going to miss racing as Mark Martin through so many races this season. Barely hanging on to Johnson's draft on the back straightaway, but I don't think I'm going to be able to hold on to it for much longer. I was just so scared of Harvick that I hopped myself out of the draft. stay within a couple seconds. We got 3 more cars coming up behind us. Lap 25 in this one, so 36 to go currently. We're in the fuel window to make it to the end from here. We're not going to pit, obviously, yet. And he going wide, middle of the corner, intentional. Oh, went a little too far wide, though, and made contact with the wall. That was not the plan. I think he's going to be able to keep up with Martin Truex Jr. and Elliott Sadler, though. Yep. All right. I'm all right with this. I'm content with where we're running right now, honestly. I'm glad it's just a 1 pit stop race, because I think that actually makes it a little easier for us. Here's some bump draft down the backstretch. Blaney to the back of Truex. Both cars get by Elliott Sadler. Nice little push car behind the 22 if he needs the help to stay with the 1. I kind of don't want to catch this group in front of us. I'd like to get closer, but the minute Truex gets into the draft behind the back of the lead car the next draft, he's going to start pulling away from us. Big push. Blaney to the back of the 1. Trying to stay in the gas without lifting, getting into the corner that time, and Blaney was able to do a good job of doing so. Clearly couldn't stay in the draft behind Truex the whole way, and the 1 and the 22 are definitely pulling the 38. So keeping up with the 1 for right now. Massive pushes down the back straightaway. Truex and Blaney are working well together. I'm definitely going to have to adjust the gearing better to get better on the restarts for when the Daytona 500 comes around. So I definitely need to find out. I don't think I'm going to get up to speed in a perfect way by any means, but it needs to be better. I can't afford to just lose like 5 positions every single restart, especially if I get into a late race, flurry of caution situation. Truex Blaney again. Bump draft down the back straightaway. Push from the 22 to the back of the 1. I feel like I'm just tugging on this analog stick trying to get the car to the bottom of the track. .3 seconds off the lead, halfway through our duel at Daytona. Oh, Truex got loose. All on his own. Blaney made the pass, but I don't think he's close enough to the back of Kyle Busch to be able to pull that lead draft. That was weird. I don't know if Truex got aero loose getting into turn 1 or what it was. Blaney didn't even bump draft him that time. But the 1 wiggled, the 22 stayed in the gas, got around him for 9th. Still going to lose a little bit of time here, as Blaney is now the lead car and clearly doesn't have great single car speed after qualifying 40th. Lost about 3/10 to the leaders and a half a lap there. Truex on the outside lane. Blaney wants to stay with him. It's going to be tough. Nobody behind the 22 to help him try to keep his speed up with Martin. Nobody's made a pit stop yet, and our only caution was about lap 13 or so, just outside the fuel window at the time. Blaney does hold with Truex. They're 2 seconds off the lead now. There's another slow car, by the way. Somebody blew an engine in the early laps of this race, and somebody else is blowing a motor on the back straightaway. Best duel race of all time. There was, what year of the car tomorrow was it when there was like 2 photo finishes like in the same day? Was it 2010? I feel like the combination of those 2 races were pretty good. I think it was 2010. I could be wrong on that. Got very loose. I had to lift in the tri-oval that time. Still able to stay with the one of Truex. Race the Le Mans race? I don't know what you're talking about. That isn't on this season, I'll tell you that much. Mark Martin, by the way, is back in the lead. The push for Dave Blaney to the back of the one of Martin Truex Jr. These two have worked great together. And we've got cars pitting off turn 4. Mark Martin leading a flurry of cars into the pits. Dave Blaney trying to make a pass on Truex. And he does for 4th. No bonus points on the line, by the way, in this duel race for leading any laps or anything of that nature, so just focused on trying to get the best finish we can. Harvick on the outside groove of the racetrack. Gonna get a push from Dave Blaney down the back straightaway. 22-29 picking up speed. Side by side for the lead. Up in front of him, Jimmy Johnson on the outside lane. Dale Jr. down on the bottom. Oh boy. Harvick up on the outside. How did he not try to just wreck Dave Blaney? Johnson pulls down in front of the 22. 22 pushes the 48. 22 going to the bottom, 3 wide for the lead at Daytona into the first turn. Blaney's not trying to get him both. He's just trying to squeeze in line in front of Dale Jr. now, and he does. Still go a couple more laps on fuel. Slow car's trying to get up to speed. Kyle Busch and Tony Stewart right in front of the leaders. Johnson looking to stay out of the pits this time. Dave Blaney going to do so also. Blaney again, a push to the back of Jimmy Johnson. Has to lift a ton to try to make the corner. A lot of contact with Kyle Busch. Thought we were going to wreck there for a second. Great job by Busch keeping it off the wall. That was a tough break for Dave Blaney. He just got really tight in the center of the corner. Now trying to get his speed up on the back straightaway with the 5 car in front of him. Was out of the gas for so long there. Now going to have to gain time into the pits. There's Jimmy Johnson. Blaney's going to get in front of him. Pit road there for the 22 as well. It'll be right side tires only. Going to put a half around a wedge back into the race car here. So again, right sides only for Dave Blaney. Going to try to save time on pit road. And they're going to top off on fuel as we have a little under half the race remaining. Good stop. Clean stop. Out and away, and I think Blaney's going to be the race leader here. Beat Johnson into the pits. I think I technically led that lap on pit road because we beat the 22 or the 48 into the pits. Great pit road entry without locking the tires up. Still outbrake Jimmy Johnson. Caught back up to him all that time. Lost to lap 4 in turns 1 and 2. All right, here we go. They're going to end up running us down eventually. We're going to have a couple laps of freedom, and we're going to have a little under 20 to go. And the only reason I put a half around a wedge into it to tighten it up is because I took right sides only. So I felt like that was naturally going to loosen it. I was trying to keep the balance the same, so hopefully it's not going to be too tight if I get back in traffic again. Which I would assume I will get back in traffic again. It's just a matter of time. Man, oh man, oh man. This is tough when you don't have teammates on this game, too. Single car team, Bill Davis Racing. They did win the Daytona 500 in 2002 with Ward Burton in this very car. Similar paint scheme with the Caterpillar sponsor. Another slow car on the apron, getting into 3 here. Matt Kenseth, it looked like. So Kenseth has blown a motor. Dave Blaney leads in the duel at Daytona. Done a great job all race long. After qualifying 40th. Having to start deep in the field, obviously, in this duel as a result. And has finally worked his way to the front. Jimmy Johnson is the second place car currently. Blaney's just going to try to hold on to the lead for as long as he possibly can. If he loses it, you just never know if he's going to end up getting it back. Come on. Car should handle better in the clean air, I would imagine. Well, Johnson's just going to get right around us off turn 4 anyway. All right, we'll see if Dave Blaney can keep up with Jimmy Johnson. Those older left side tires. Johnson to the lead with 20 to go. Oh, great corner by Blaney. Didn't get tight at all in the draft behind the 48. Gives him a shot. Off turn 2, down the backstretch. Blaney with a run. Again, looking to the inside. This thing ain't over yet. Can Blaney clear into turn 3? Yes, he does. This is just the duel race, but this is still freaking awesome, man. Oh, wow. I know this car doesn't have speed. The draft, obviously, the great equalizer at Daytona, but the handling with the car being C-tier equipment is not great either. Adjustments, you know, in practice, mid-race now in the duel. Really doing what I can. You get more cars up in this lead pack, it's going to be more difficult to hold on to the lead, but Blaney's doing a great job holding on. Jimmy Johnson, one of the series best. Wade Zielinski, Matthew Dorter-Bruno, thanks for tuning in. Also, Billy Kramer, welcome in. 18 to go. Oh, big block, big block. Blaney barely clear. Getting tight off into turn 1. Contact into the tri-oval, probably helped him not make that corner. Did get the cut down to the bottom and the center of the corner before Johnson was able to get back to him. And here comes Tony Stewart with a run. Dale Jr. to push the 20 on the bottom of the racetrack. Mark Martin, the pole sitter in this race, up here as well. Blaney blocking both lanes. Oh boy. We still got 17 laps to go. Earnhardt with a run. He's looking high. Blaney gets there in time. Off turn 2. Johnson to the bottom. Half block. 6 not helping the 48 out enough, it looks like. Into turn 3. And I just don't like the way this thing shoves in the middle of the corner. I was able to stay in the gas that time. Oh boy. Yeah, I'm not Logano. This is pre-Penske. I'm surprised I've led as many laps as I have in this race, honestly. 6 or 7 now. Since taking the 2-tire stop, try to leapfrog the field. I mean, I knew what I had to do. I had to stay within a couple seconds of the leaders to actually cycle out into the lead with the 2-tire stop. And we started at the back, and we had to kind of chip away, and we were able to get within about 2 seconds of the lead before green flag pit stop started, and got out ahead. 2 laps after green flag pit stops, here comes the pack, and it is a race for the win now. Stewart to the outside of Dave Blaney. Blaney could not block the 20 car that time. Johnson giving the 22 quite a big push still. Stewart led that lap, but not by much. Little contact. Blaney trying to keep the 20 in check. I'm thankful for the 48 of Jimmy Johnson there. His push down the tri-oval helped Dave Blaney keep this lead, because it looked like Stewart definitely had him beat initially off turn 4. Blaney back up to the outside. This is going to be a long 14 laps. Man, I don't know how stressful the Daytona 500 is going to be later, but it's going to be... I just feel like if I get... Oh, no, don't do that. Oh, boy. Off the wall! Keep your foot in it! That thing was shoving. We're all right. Oh my gosh. Just a kiss. It was just a kiss. Oh, I wiggled. I wiggled big time. Johnson to the inside. Dave Blaney to the lead. No longer. Harvick to the inside of Blaney for second. Johnson slides clear. Stewart giving the 22 a push, though, from that high side off the exit of turn 2. Blaney's going back for the lead into 3. Clear high. He is. And back to the bottom in front of Harvick. I'm just scared when one of them gets by me, I'm just going to get freight trained like I was in the middle of the pack earlier in the race. And I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet. I have to cut the run off before multiple cars get around me. If only one gets around me, I think I'll be all right. Because that car in front of me wouldn't have anybody to draft off of to pull away. Oh boy. Contact with Harvick. Back to the bottom in front of Stewart. 11 to go at the line this time by. I wish it was the old duels and this was the last lap, but it's not. We got 10 more after this one. Gosh, if it was the 125 still. We gotta endure this stress for 10 more laps. Oh, wow. Stewart had contact with Johnson. He was going down to make a move on the 22. He had a big run. Problem is Dave Blaney's getting way out ahead of this pack now. It's going to be a massive run coming by whoever's going to get there first. It looks like it might be Kevin Harvick. But yeah, it looked like Stewart made contact with Johnson, which slowed the pack down a little bit. When Tony went to go to the bottom, Blaney made another clean, successful block. And here's that run by Harvick to the outside. Blaney closes it off. Nowhere to go from the 29 with the wall there. Stewart hopped to the bottom behind Johnson. That's not going to last very long either. Now everybody's on the bottom but Harvick. By the time Harvick got the help off turn 2, it was too late. And now Johnson doesn't have as much help now on the bottom of the racetrack. Mirror driving at our finest right now. I don't have any teammates. That's yeah, we don't have any teammates. Bill Davis Racing is a single car organization. The 2006 season. Johnson cut us a break there. It looked like he was underneath us, and as we started to close the door, I think he lifted a little. Playing it safe with still 9 to go. Johnson's got help from a teammate now, Kyle Busch, and the 5 is right behind him. This is to start 4th in the Daytona 500 if you win this race. Unless it's Mark Martin, who is already starting 2nd, then we can afford to finish 2nd place behind him. But Mark's not up here right now. He's in the lead pack, but he's kind of in the back of it. He's outside the top 5. I mean, this duel is stacked. The names up here, you got Johnson, Stewart, Earnhardt, Harvick, Kyle Busch, Mark Martin. This is a stacked duel race. And then you got Jeff Green up here. Stewart to the inside of Blaney. Oh, Tony is not clear. Tony Stewart was not clear. And almost caused the big one at Daytona off of turn 4. Is Harvick and Stewart going to pull away as Blaney gets back to 3rd? Stewart self-cleared Dave Blaney off turn 4. Harvick to the outside. Blaney going to go with the 29. Oh, no. Car got tight again. Little scrape. Nothing major. Usually it doesn't pop off the wall like that in the middle of the corner. I'm lucky it did. It didn't in the truck race. And another run by the driver of the 22. Stewart, another block. Another block by Tony Stewart. 22 got into the back of the 20. Launches Stewart way out ahead. But is the lead too big? Harvick Blaney got to stay nose to tail. Big run for Blaney. He's going to need Harvick to stay with him to try to keep the momentum up. 5 to go for Tony Stewart at the line. He's already made this car wide twice. Not going to be an easy pass for the 22. Blaney to the inside for the lead. Blaney's clear into turn 1. Oh, boy. Oh, the car slid off turn 4. Barely Harvick wasn't able to get to the inside of the 22. 4 laps to go in Duel 2 at Daytona. Harvick, Stewart, Johnson, Dave Blaney, and then Kyle Busch back in 5th are all in the top 5. Harvick not enough help on the middle of the back straightaway. Blaney down to block the 29. I think the 48 dropped to the bottom behind Harvick. Stewart not a lot of help up high anymore. Harvick clears Stewart. Now goes back to the bottom in front of Johnson. Back to the top in front of Stewart. 3 to go. Can't afford a DNF. Yeah, we'll start at the back of the 500. Got to be smart. There's no points here. Can't wreck the car. You know, if we lose a couple spots, the last 2 laps of the race, lose a couple spots, we'll still start top 10. I know I want to win this thing. Oh boy, big slide, middle of the corner. Harvick is there. Blaney's going to need some help. He's going to lead this lap of the line. Harvick's still on the inside. Johnson's pushing the 22, and the 22 again holds clear. It ain't over yet. Johnson's got Dale Jarrett behind him. Jarrett really came out of nowhere in this lead pack. He's up in the top 5 late. And a run by Harvick. Big block by Blaney on the backstretch. White flag at the line this time. 1 to go. Can Dave Blaney pull off the upset in Duel race number 2 at Daytona? A block off turn 2, back straightaway, quickly back to the top in front of Jimmy Johnson. Gonna stay there before going to the bottom in front of Harvick into turn 3. Oh, Blaney! He clipped the apron, he slides! Oh, what a save! And now it's a drag race for the win! Oh my gosh! How did that happen? Harvick is gonna win the race! The closer does it again. And a 7th place finish for Dave Blaney. How did that happen? Oh my gosh. I hadn't done that the whole speed week. I didn't even think that was possible. Just clip the apron and suck me down sideways. I cannot believe I did that. When I came back across the track, I thought I was going to just obliterate the pack. Luckily, they all cleared me. And there were only, what, 5 cars and 6 cars in that lead pack? Saving the seat while it is the first race. It could have been worse. I mean, we're still going to be starting, what, 14th? It could have been starting 4th. Oh, dang. I wanted to win so badly. I think we had it won. I mean, they could have still built a run off turn 4, but I think we had that race won. That hurts, man. I mean, the good news is we can get him back at the top of the next hour, but yeah, I mean, that's just tough. You want to win those so badly, especially because I don't know if I'm going to win a race all season. Like, Dave Blaney is not quick in this game. Super speedways are going to be our best opportunity. I know it wasn't a points race, but man, I mean, we were there. We had the pit strategy. We did everything right in the middle of the race to keep myself within 2 seconds of the lead, so that way we could try to attempt the strategy, get the track position, have that chance. Car was not handling great the whole race, but we were there. I mean, we were there. We were leading on the last lap. That's all you can ask for, and I blew it. I mean, I clipped the apron. I probably wasn't even like on the apron. I think I was on the yellow line with the left side tires, and that was enough to suck me in. But yeah, I hadn't had that happen. I clipped the apron on my first of 2 qualifying laps, but it didn't do that. Like, it slowed me down the middle of the corner, but I didn't grab my car and turn it sideways. So yeah, that was definitely interesting. But I'm glad I at least did it in the Duel, not the Daytona 500. So I've at least learned not to do that for the big one later on today. So appreciate everybody tuning in. That's going to end the stream. Like, subscribe. Our Daytona 500 will be at 6 p.m. Eastern. Hope to see you there for that one. Thanks for tuning in for this early afternoon stream on a Monday. And see you in about an hour or so.